Good evening and welcome, everyone. Hello and welcome to Samantha, my darling, to Roxanne, my dearest, to Stephanie, hello, my love, and Darcy from the backyard by the fire, and Marcy, her twin. Hello, Marcy, good evening. Hello, everyone. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, thank you. Test 1, 2. How are we sounding? How's the balance? I will be turning the drums down a little bit because they can't be too loud for me, or they can be too loud for me, and I don't want them to be. So, Libra 7, Uranus, okay. Is that what you're guessing? Are you betting tonight? Tavia, welcome, my love. The magical 9 is here. Yay. Yep, Darcy in the north, Marcy in the south. Yes, we are. A toast, a Gatorade toast to you. As you see, we have fully arrived in, or maybe you'll see soon, fully arrived in spooky season. And I have a stack of decks that are like my full-on Samhain decks that I've been reading with in the mornings, and I had them ready to spit, and it's like, no, we'll save those for Samhain. So this is the run-up, and I'm realizing just how many darkish decks I have that are amazing. That's what you rolled, okay. Okay, well, I want to start tonight just with some requests, please, for good energy to be sent. And first of all, to everyone in Florida, and through the person of Laura, there she is! There she is! As I spoke her name, her message popped up. So I am so glad to see you, darling. How are you? How are you? Wow, Florida got slammed. And I just praying for everyone that has suffered a lot. And the suffering is one of those things that's going to unfold as people start to deal with what is just gone forever, wiped off the face of the map. And I'm so grateful that Laura is here. And one of the decks that I chose is because it was a gift from her, and I really wanted to connect there. So now or whenever you're doing any, prayer work, energy work, please send clearing, cleansing, healing energy that way. And then personally for family members, my sister-in-law and her husband, who are going through some trying times. So please, if you would, send energies there. The second thing, and kind of hooked onto that, is I have a recommendation, and I wish, and I understand why, but I wish YouTube wasn't so about music that's playing in the background, and I don't know where the boundary is, and I'm going to find out, because if I can call it a reaction video or something and introduce you to this music during a live stream, I will do it. But in the meantime, I am going to give you a name here of someone to look up on YouTube. Go to her channel. I heard a song from her, I don't know, a few years ago, and I just kind of, heard it, and then, of course, things went along. I probably have it on a playlist somewhere. But then she came up again on Sunday, and I heard a song, and it, blew me away, and I went to her channel and sat there in puddles as I listened to these songs. She has a heavenly voice. She has an incredible sense of melody and rhythm and power, and she is using those gifts, and has been for quite some time, with a group called Women Wage Peace. And I'm starting to choke up just telling you about her because the music is incredible. And Monday night, so Sunday was when I became aware of her again, and then Monday night, my son was home, and I said, "Come here, I want to play some things for you." And as we were listening, I just had a ball of grief bust loose, and it's like there's so much grief on this planet right now, so much grief, and her work is, as it says in Women Wage Peace, about women taking back our power and making the changes happen for, everybody. So there's one called the Mother's Prayer. There's many of her songs are in Hebrew. She is Israeli Canadian, from what I understand, but she a lot of the songs are in Hebrew, and it doesn't matter because you can just feel the power of what's happening. So please check her out. This is what makes me miss Mother Drum so desperately, and fortunately I am beginning to feel better and better, and that makes me start having thoughts about how badly I want to do these things again, and most importantly how I would do these things without hurting myself. So so yes, we please listen and get yourself some healing energy from the work that she's putting out into the world, because it's phenomenal. And then the third thing, okay, let me catch up with messages here. I'm glad, Laura, I'm reading your message here that your immediate location did pretty well. Florida got slammed. Yeah, I thought you were directly in the path. I'm glad. I'm glad. Oh, Samantha. Yeah, a lot of areas without electricity, and particularly if people are in shelters, I can imagine whatever cell service they may have is just stressed to the max. So, yeah, I didn't put names out, but so I'm gonna, yeah. All right, we'll just leave it. Okay, so now to fun things. Here are my new things. Welcome to my new obsession. And on Sunday, I think it was Friday and Saturday maybe, I did, let me get myself out of the way so you can see well. So here are little ghosties that I made. And I am going to make another pair and do something a little bit differently. But this was just, working out patterns and having some fun. Having some fun after I bought good beads, not cheap-ass beads. Good beads that are all mostly the same size. And then Sunday, I worked out the pattern for this and produced her. And I don't know if you can see, when there's light behind it, the moon actually glows because there's some transparency in those beads. So I did her, and then I decided to do a smaller version of her because she's big. I made her as a pair of earrings, and they're very big, and I like them, but the smaller ones are nice too. And then I thought, oh, hey, I can make the bigger one a necklace. So so this is my new obsession, and it's fun, fun, fun. And it ticks the boxes for me. It's easy, or let's say it's simple. Sometimes it's not so easy. And I can do it while I'm sitting here listening to music and listening to, other interesting things. And it goes very quickly, and I have something for it at the end. And with the goddesses, while I was making all of these goddesses, and this is what I'm going to do when anytime I make a pattern that is a sacred symbol, I was chanting, I was listening to Yael. When I made the first one, I found Yael, and it's like, okay, we're just going to let her music flow. And as I'm weaving this goddess, and then the same thing for these, I was doing White Tara chanting with these, and Lisa Thiel, one of my other favorite goddess people, Wendy Rule. So I'm listening to goddess music as I'm playing. And here I will maximize myself just so you can see. This, they're tactile wise, they feel so good. They feel amazing. I do plan to sell. We'll see how it goes. But I'm just in love. Just in love with them. I have some new blue beads coming Friday, this beautiful light sapphire blue that are silver lined, and so I'm going to do some with blue and a white goddess and lots of things to do. So thank you. Hello, Patricia. Welcome, dear. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I was grabbing decks, and it's like they just when I laid them out, I thought, yeah, boy, do these all need to be here for sure. So let's talk about what decks we have. No, let's do our grounding first. I always go through this, don't I? It's because it's not a strict ritual, so whatever. Let's ground. Let's exhale. Deep inhale and a big total exhale. Squeeze it out. And then let your breath settle. Just come down into the body. I have to do this. Hold on a second. Give me a minute. Down into the body, awareness down into the body, feeling your skin from head to toe. Let your awareness like run down your body like a beautiful wave. So your skin feels your awareness touching it, and your awareness takes in every bit of your skin and how it's feeling, the sensations. Tap into the sensations. All the way down, all the way down, all the way down to your toes. Then put a root down from the base of your spine. Tap into the earth. Whatever season you're in, whatever energy is around you in your context, tap into that energy. Which means, if you're in the northern hemisphere, you're tapping into fall and Samhain energy if you're up north, and spring if you're in the southern hemisphere, and hot summer if you're near the equator. So we've got a balance of all the possible energies on this sphere. And it doesn't matter if you're watching while the stream is happening or afterwards. You are here in this moment. We are here together. Start to breathe up that earth energy. Feel it filling you up. It flows in as you keep breathing easily, but every time you concentrate on your in-breath, it gets more concentrated. You pull it up in. Fill your body up. There's a dance of universal peace. It's fill your cup, drink it up. Ya Allah, Allah. See, I'm feeling the women in the Middle East. I'm feeling the Ukrainians and the Russians. I'm feeling the Floridians and the South and North Carolinians. I'm feeling. My son and I were listening, and I mean, it was such a wad of grief. It was shaking me, and I just said, there's so much grief on this planet. So just allow yourself to feel what you are able to feel, what will heal you. in your immediate need. And then let your breath all the way out. In breath, crank up the energy in your body. Now just release the breath. Another deep one, crank it up. Brighter and brighter, release just the breath. And now really crank it up. Bright and alive and healing, breathe it out the crown. Feel it arcing around. Touching the ground, down, around your root. Feel that circuit flowing. Comes through you and back down into the earth. It's a circle, it's a circle, it's a circle. Constantly renewing, renewing, renewing. Open up your crown and feel the cosmic energy pouring in. Blue sky, stars, sunlight, black space. Feel it pouring in. Space, space, space. As you let it flow down, feel the space between all of your atoms increasing until you feel like you are vast and limitless. And let that flow down through your body. Each little flash of earth energy attracts cosmic energy, and they connect and they hook up. And then let it flow down and out your root and up around the outside, back up into space. Use what you need while we're here together. And of course, anytime. But our intention here is also that, with every exhale, there's energy going out, out, out from every woman in this circle and all the interconnecting circles of all of us. So see there, I kind of snuck a prayer circle in almost. I keep intending, and it hasn't happened yet. Naples and wow, wow. Oh my goodness. Yes. To all of you. Now, let's have a little smoke cleanse. Oh, I just realized something. By fire and air, may you be purified and charged. BRB. Hi, boys. Can you see my boys back here? There's Gilbert, but there's a Pywacket right here. He is the dark. He is the darkness. You cannot see him. Pywacket! Look here, boo. Yeah, I'm sure you couldn't see him even if I made us bigger. Okay. This is, there's ocean water in it, yes, but this is power water. So I share this and by water and earth. Oh. May you be blessed and made whole. And how do you like my candles? I'm not doing paraffin anymore. I can't do it. It literally makes my sinuses bleed. So we are doing LED candles now. And maybe it won't be so hot. I just had to open my window anyway because, when I get together with you guys, my thermostat kicks on. So let us, our bell, and let's bring in spirit. welcome. Guides and guardians, allies and ancestors, welcome to this space. Thank you for your help. Every day I offer you fresh water and the fire of Azrael. Please bless these decks. And I ask for the gift of messages tonight. Let's look at who we have. Raven's Wand. I just unboxed this. Just got it last week. It's a fun little oracle. And this is the Fountain. The Fountain Tarot, which was a gift from Laura. A gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous deck. Then we have Tarot of the She, which was also a gift deck from Catherine, another one of my patrons. Becca, oh, honey. It's coming for us all. I hope it's swift for you. Time tea. Make time tea. It clears everything so quickly. And I thought that was going to suck the smoke out because I was a little heavy-handed with the fire of Azrael. But, you know, come on, bring it. I just don't want to start coughing. Okay, wait a minute. Pai is so dark he looks like an undercover spy. Yeah, I know. He is. He's a ninja. He's a total ninja. Unreal. How people have managed to avoid it. I'm sorry you're sick, sweetie. Oh, yes. Thank you, Darcy. The leaves have not come down in the woods yet, so I still don't see the moon yet, but she's coming. And I meant to shoot a video on the full moon yesterday, and I forgot. We have another silver deck, and this is the Dark Goddesses Oracle. So, you know, I have some tools that I kind of have about, and that's one of them, but they still have messages to give, and we give them a chance with their flaws. Then we have Taro Delaney, another silver box deck, but this is one that I edged in this very dark blue. And then we have Rackham's Fairy Oracle, which has now been edged in a copper bronze color. I went on a deck edging spree this week as well. I can tell that I start feeling better because I get bored, and it's like I got to do something. So, edging decks and weaving beads. I almost did an unerspism with those two words, and that would have been hilarious. If they can't work that out, it would have been beaving weeds. And so, yeehaw, here we go. All right. Hey, Magic Astro Dice. We'll put you in the middle of the moon. No, I'm going to put you in between the moons so we can see the moons. Do you like my cloth? Do ya? Isn't it spoopy? I love it. Okay. More drinking. All right. Yes, beefing weeds. Okay. What energies? What energies do we need to be aware of tonight? What gifts? What is accessible to us? We're on an Aquarius moon. And we have Saturn in Sagittarius in the 9th house. I have Saturn in Sagittarius in my 2nd house. Boy, has that been fun. Okay. I can hear the crickets outside. I have my window open. The breeze is amazing. It was in 72 today. It's going to be 72 again tomorrow. And it's amazing to be able to open the windows and have that fall air. Okay. So Saturn in Sag in the 9th. Saturn in Sag is a push-pull kind of thing. because Saturn is the contraction principle, and Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter, Jupiter is the expansion principle. So it talks about taking responsibility, I think, in broader ways, because Sagittarius broadens and expands. It's a fire sign, and Saturn, earthy Saturn in a fire sign. I mean, what's earth and fire but pottery? Shaping a vessel. So, ooh, let's follow this metaphor. And a mutable sign. You know, Saturn rules a cardinal sign in Capricorn, so it's about initiating things, starting things off. But Sagittarius is a mutable sign, which is about endings. So it's taking responsibility, and it's also flexible, you know, in a flexible way, in a passionate way, in a way that brings benefit. And ninth house is Sagittarius's own house. So here we have Saturn firmly in the realm of Sagittarius. And it talks about global things, global responsibility. It's kind of like Saturn can represent the patriarchy, and in earth signs it can be rather slow and dull and cold. But in a fire sign and in a fire house, it's kind of setting fire to that drive for achievement. Saturn is achievement. It's having a goal and being able to go for it no matter how long it takes. So I think we have this energy of responsibility on a global level in a context of laws and philosophies and spirituality and understanding. And I want to say here, because this story's screaming into my head, my son and I had a little bit of a tangle the other night. Well, he's an Aquarius and I'm a Leo, of course we did. But he was talking to me about working with some angels and demons, as the kids are doing these days. And I'm not talking about demons, big, scary, evil, not that. No, DAE. They are energy beings. And I went off about I didn't really go off. I said, I just have a problem with blah, blah, blah. And I was talking about the Abrahamic religions and the hell they have wrought on this planet. Just there's a lot to be laid at the doorstep there of the patriarchy. And then I had to say to him, I'm sorry, I was speaking from my trauma. And I see these women, Yael, the song, I think it's the Mother's Prayer, where these women, she sings, and then there's this absolutely stunningly beautiful Arab woman with that liquid voice. I mean, the voices are incredible. Don't know what they're saying. They're speaking Hebrew and Arabic, and, I think one woman was from Lebanon, and just different, cultures. And cultures that have been at the heart of violence, stemming from these religions that share a common root. And just sobbing, because these are the women who are bringing the goddess back. They are bringing the goddess back at the root system. Unfortunately, in our country, the branches of that root system have gone so far off the beam that I don't know that there's any reaching it, but it's very moving. So back to Yael, make sure you look her up. So yes, taking responsibility and structuring things in accord with our understanding, of the broad cultures present on the earth. And ninth house too talks about governments and diplomacy, the thing that goes between governments, this global community that we share. And yet we have such extremely diverse cultures and belief systems, and we must find a way to let that be. So Saturn is all about structure and responsibility. There we go. May it be for bringing benefit. May it be for increasing understanding. So mote it be. Okay, let's see. Oh, I'll tell you what, the trees, it's going to be a fast fall because it got cold so very quickly. Um, Reading messages. Okay. All right. And there's 13 of you watching now. I love it. I love it. Let's get going. I don't have a topic deck. And like I said, I may need to not do all 6 decks or just take a little break in the middle or whatever. So who's coming up first? Who's coming up first here? Okay, number 4, which is the Dark Goddess. She heard me dissing her. I'm not dissing the Dark Goddess. What I am dissing is that the crones in this deck look like young, thin, busty women that are dressed up in crone makeup rather than looking like actual crones. That's the problem I have. Okay. Let's do a shuffle. But I have no problem with how they shuffle. And look, I can't blow my candles out anymore. Okay, all right, let me settle. What messages do you have for us tonight for women everywhere, for the season of harvest, for the season of death and rebirth, which, you know, in a sense, every season is that. Oh, all right. Well, here's 2 that want to come out. And okay. So we have 2. We have inspiration and knowledge. Wow. Caradwyn and Pythia. And I know 2 witches with these names. And I send blessings to them. Give me one more, please. And this deck is trying to call in a tarot deck. Oh, okay. Oh, I've got some of these are reversed in this deck. I don't know if this deck does reverses. Let's find out. No, they don't. Okay. I mean, they're all dark goddesses, so, you know. But we have Scylla, drama. Oh. Okay, so I want to look at them this way, and I actually want to let the goddesses speak. Let me catch up here. The structure of our beliefs can hold us up, and our aim can be true. There you go. A real crone's calendar. I don't know that movie. Hey, Sherry. Welcome, sweetheart. Okay. So let's do, oh, there's a little verse. We're starting with Caradwyn here, and it says, Hubble bubble cast out trouble. Clear your mind now on the double. Sip of magic from her potions, ideas inspire creative notions. By the power of the dark goddess in me, protection in place, blessed be. Hell yes. See what I did there? Okay. I'm looking at Dark Goddess Foresight. And that's a short one. The other ones are long ones. All right. Negative thoughts have clouded your outlook. Observe your thoughts carefully. Change negative words to positive ones. Read, draw, or write. Meditate to enhance your natural wisdom. This is a good time to start a new project. Trust your visions. Okay, inspiration coming in. So one of the things you can do is, and it's hard to retrain your very language, but the brain rejects negatives. So, you know, you've heard this thing a million times. If somebody tells you don't think of an elephant, what are you thinking of immediately? It's impossible to not think of an elephant because you have to in order to know what to not. So instead of saying, I'm not well. Well, if you state something like that, I'm not well, your body rejects the not, or your brain rejects the not and reads it as I am well. So think about how you phrase things in those terms. And then let's look at Pythia. Okay. All right. Her verse says, and this is knowledge: study, learn, absorb each word, remember facts, senses stirred. Trust and share your knowledge wide. Sense the teacher deep inside. By the power of the dark goddess in me, protection in place, blessed be. Investigate a teacher's credentials and experience before signing up. Studying will open up new opportunities. Stop relying on others to give you the answers. Deep within, you already know. Be open to receiving esoteric information. You have a natural ability to teach. Okay, so inspiration is incoming. Knowledge is outgoing in here, talking about specifically teaching. And the Pythia was the priestess that was in the temple of Delphi. And she sat above that crack in the earth. She was the Pythoness. And people would come with their questions and she would prophesy. So she shared things. So it's talking about putting yourself in that place, in that balanced place where you have things coming in to enliven your brain, to spark your passion, to drive you to experience and do things, and then to pass along the wisdom that you gain, to share what you know. And then we have Skulla, drama. So what is the thing that keeps yanking us out of that balance? It's the drama. And to me, drama is bringing an emotional agenda where it does not belong, bringing a need where it doesn't belong, you know? And in my experience, it's the people that will tell you, oh, I can't stand drama, that are often the biggest drama bringers. So let's look at what she says about drama. And once again, I put this on and it's coming right in my face because I didn't learn the first time that the window's open. And that's where it's going to go. If it was sitting closer to the window, it would be sucking the smoke right out. Taking half a second here. Okay, there we go. So her verse says, attention, please, all eyes on me. 'Tis what all others really see. Exaggerating is not fact. Life should not be one big act. By the power of the dark goddess in me, protection in place, blessed be. Understand that gossip affects the subject matter. What goes around comes around. You've cried wolf too often. Don't be so quick to point the finger. Stop trying to steal the limelight. Don't get left in the wings. Someone is dominating a situation, and the Oscar goes to... I love it. So she's Scylla, S-K-Y-L-L-A, Scylla. Archetypal drama queen of Greek origin. She haunted the rocks of a narrow waterway, the Scylla and Charybdis. I always thought it was Scylla, though. Ships that sailed too close to her rocks lost men to her grasp and appetite. Her voice is likened to the yelping of dogs. She is the nature of treacherous waters, stormy, violent seas, and rocky shores made flesh. Okay, so we are in times of high drama. You look at the strife that we're in the U.S. politically. You look at the strife that's happening in Ukraine. This is down to needy men. These things are down to men for whom there is never enough of anything. There certainly is not enough real love at a crucial point. They only they know where that crucial point was. And it has left them in this neediness that they are consuming, and, you know, trying to deny others because they are so sure that when someone else has good things that they will not have enough. So that's where we're at. And What we are called to is to pull away from that drama and into our inspiration, which allows us to, which is vital energy, it's living energy, you know? Inspiration is spirit coming in. So spending time with spirit, connecting with spirit, and then putting that knowledge out is the way to go, away from the drama. Away from the drama. Oh, goodness. You know, it just makes you wonder, like you're not dealing with enough, Laura. um, it's not fun. And it really is, you know, you want to stop the person that's at the heart of it and just say, what do you need? How can I help you? What do you really need? What are you missing? You know? And but will anything ever be enough? Who knows? The thing I would say there is, if you know, you do your best to ignore that agenda and whatever strings are being tossed out and baits being tossed out, and just assume I'm dealing with adults and here's the actual situation, and deal with that and ignore the drama. It's the worst thing you can do to them, you know. But it's also the best thing you can do. Drama creating, having strong emotions without really being vulnerable. That's true. Well, it's need. It's just need, need, need. Black hole. So the emotions are manipulative. You know, true emotion really makes you vulnerable, but it's the show of emotion. That's why it's drama. It's the show of emotion to get me what I need. It's manipulative. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So one thing I didn't do was tell you a little story about what was happening when I was doing the beading. A few months ago, I got out the bead loom for my son's partner and got inspired to start beading again. And I think I showed you guys that. Got out the loom and messed around with some stuff, and the loom's a big fat pain in the ass, and weaving is so much easier. But I went to find these beading needles for Bug. She was doing some beading. She didn't have a needle, and I said, I have beading needles. And I knew what the tube looked like, and I went to the place where I thought they were, and I looked and looked and looked and tore everything apart. Not there. Looked several times because it's like, damn it, I know I have them. Where are they? Could not find them. Not with the beading loom, not with the, I went right to where I knew they were, and they were not. So when I sew, I had this tray that I pull out of my 2 drawers full of thread. I pull this tray out. It's got all my basic, little point turners and measuring tools and bodkins and bobbins and all kinds of stuff. And I just set it next to me, and I've got all my tools. So I was sewing last week. I had that tray out. I used it. I put it back in the drawer, and it sits on top of some thread, but I left the drawer hanging open. So Sunday, after I made this first goddess, I went into the sewing room for something, and I was in there. I thought, oh, I'll close that drawer. And I looked down, and on top, in the middle, up above, on top of everything else, is that frickin' tube of beading needles. Now, because I couldn't find them, I bought more beading needles, and those are the ones I've been using. And this tube showed up. Now, when they're fucking with me, and they fuck with me, and this is Ingrid, she's laughing right now. This is my guardian in the north. They will take some things away from me, and I can look and look and look and know what I'm looking for and know exactly, and I look and look and look, not there. And then suddenly it'll be like, and it's always so obvious, like in the middle of my desk, or I go into my closet and it's in the middle of my dresser where there's nothing else around it, where how could I have missed that before? Suddenly something's there. And that to me was like, we support your new habit. We support your new hobby. Have fun. Keep going. So yeah, there's been some very interesting stuff. Hello, Sandra. Yes, absolutely. You can't control anybody's anything, but you can control how you choose to perceive it and react to it. Absolutely. All right. Who's up next? Number 6. Okay, this is the Rackham's Fairy Oracle. I absolutely love that I cannot blow my candles out anymore. Because I'm realizing I go to shuffle and I'm trying, being careful, and it's like, I don't have to be careful anymore about shuffling. Okay. They want one more. All right, Fairy Oracle, what do you have to tell us about tonight? What do you have to tell us about tonight? Oh. These I'm going to have to look up. Oh yeah, I forgot this is an LS deck with many, many languages in it. Okay. This one is Shared Wishes. Of course it is. They're blowing a little dandelion. Down below, the child counts in their fingers the number of wishes they desire to make. Will they all come true? Only time can tell. So it just says a well-dressed gentleman bends down towards a young child. He holds a dandelion in one hand. His lips are puckered as he pushes air across the delicate flower, blowing the seeds off into the wind. And down below, the child... Okay. Meaning, wishing on dandelions has been around for a long time. It's said that when you pick one and blow, you can receive any wish your heart desires. When you do make a wish, share it with someone you care about. Let them in on what you desire. Perhaps they can help you attain all that you desire. Now, that flies in the face of what we're usually told about wishes, is that you don't tell anyone, right? When you do a birthday wish, they say, don't tell anyone or it won't come true. There is something kind of to that. And it is, if you're doing spell work, which is kind of like a turbo wish, right? A really well-connected wish. When you do the working and, record it in your book of shadows, it really is best to put it out of your mind. So you're not going to tell somebody about it. And if it's something you're actively working on, then actively work on it. But sometimes when it's just like, I need circumstances to turn a little bit so that I may, And when you put that out there, or request, please, I need this one thing, then do your best to let it go. Put it out of your mind. And the reason is because the release is an act of faith. When you get to the end of the spell and you release it to the universe, it's an act of faith. You're saying, I know you will bring this to me. And if you continue to talk about it and fret about it and think about it and worry about it, you are pulling that energy back down again. It needs to go out there and be free to cycle around, gather in like energy, and come back to you in its own time. If you haven't put like a specific time frame on the spell work, and even if you have, things take the time they take, And it takes a lot shorter time to turn around a tricycle than to turn around the Titanic, So things have different lengths of cycles. But, so, come down on that where you will. This isn't dogma. This isn't, be all, end all, but it's my opinion. And again, that release, that act of faith is a really potent one when it comes to magic. Okay, let's see who else we got here. Just 3. Okay, what am I looking at? I'm not sure what I'm looking at there. So we'll look it up. This one is Night Watch. Ooh, and okay, that's what I thought I might be looking at, is spirits flying through the sky. Ghostly figures float through the night skies. They look down upon the land dwellers moving silently among the rocks. This is the Night Watch, and they guard and protect you while you sleep. They see all. There are times when we don't feel secure, that the world may be falling apart. Look to the Night Watch and know that despite what you're feeling, you are safe, you are secure, they will protect you from the unknown, you have a close support system. So this is a reminder to tap into that support system, to converse with that support system, to trust, you know, trust that support system and give to them as well. In terms of attention, giving them attention, giving them gratitude. I know you're here. Thanks so much for being here. So we're talking about making wishes here, putting things into form, and knowing that we have our basic security covered spiritually by our team. And this is teachers. A girl bundled in a heavy coat looks up at the wooded creatures standing around her. They lean down as if they're giving her some meaningful wisdom. She appears to be taking their teachings to heart. Teachers are all around us, in the wind, in the trees, in the creatures skittering across the lands. This card asks you to seek knowledge from the unusual sources. Nature has much to share. All you have to do is listen. So we've got protection all around us. We've got information all around us if we choose to connect. And those two are saying, what is it that you need? Please form that and, form that wish, that spell in a spirit of worthiness, knowing just hands down, without any qualifications or arguments, you are worthy. You are worthy of the things that you need. You are worthy of the things that you desire. You are worthy of the life that you love to live. Frame those things as your wish. I'm looking at him leaning towards the night watchers here, and the child is coming this way. So the adult says, all I have to do is hand it over to my guides, and it's done. I have abundant experience of this. And the child says, I still have to learn. What can nature teach me about faith that I will get what I need? Well, it can teach me that spring always comes, that the moon always comes back, moonlight comes back. The things that cycle, whatever the cycle is, we may not know the cycle, but we know that things will come back. So that's the first lesson nature has to teach us, is everything is a cycle, not a line. It's a circle. And things will cycle and circle around, and we just need to acknowledge that the wheel turns and where we are on that wheel, and then sometimes it's about waiting in faith for the wheel to turn again. But this is talking about, be specific about what you would like to bring to you when that wheel is turning. Okay. Yes, Laura, I'm reading messages here. When people are ugly to each other, it's not only depressing, but it's toxic. That's a toxic work environment. And when people cannot be professional and civil, it affects everyone. And, that's a tough one, Laura. I'm so sorry. Tricycle moment or Titanic moment. Yep, everything has its own timetable and cycle. Yep. Yes, teacher, I was going to say that. So thank you, Samantha. We had the teacher on this side as well. So twice now. Sandra, I sure understand that. Yes, and having narcissism around you is such a tough thing, but you really do learn how to set boundaries. You're forced to. You have to. So, Laura, there are some things. Look up some Donna Eden. She does energy medicine, and she can give you some things that you can do, tapping, and things that can help you move people's crap, out of your, not through your system. You don't want it through your system, but out of your space. And that meditation we do with putting the egg around you, put a hard shell on it, and say, I observe, I don't absorb. start working on those boundaries. It does take practice, and it can be very difficult when you're using your energies to do what you do at work, pain, pain, pain. But, all right. On to the next. I am channeling one of our metal detectorists that we watch. We watch a lot of metal detectorists, and we watch a lot of mudlarkers. And there's one, he's West County Clegg is his name, and he's hilarious because he's very dramatic. And he'll, oh, I think I got something big here, my lovers. And he'll dig it up, and it's just a pesky button. Ugh. He just makes these very dramatic noises, and my husband and I just laugh and laugh and laugh. He's such a hoot. Quitting and becoming a lighthouse keeper. There you go. We're all a little weird, honey. Look what we do here. Look what we do here on a Wednesday night. Yes, we're all a little weird, and viva la weirdness, I say. Who's next? We just did you. We just did you. 3 6s in a row. There we go. Here's a 2. Okay, Laura. Here it comes. Here comes the Fountain Tarot. I love hearing the drums and the crickets at the same time. A spread in my head. Okay, first one's coming off, and that's the King of Cups. So, emotional mastery is what we're talking about here. Okay, we've got reverses. And they're all 3 reversed, so I get to turn them over. How? Oh, because I have the entire deck upside down. I think the majors have the title at the top. Yes, the majors have the title at the top. Okay, so here we go. What do we got here? Wow, 10 of Swords. Past. So yes, the acknowledgement that we are going through some shit. Some shit has shaken down. And Laura, this I'm dedicating to people in Florida and to you through this deck. So the King of Cups talks about emotional mastery. That means that we give leeway to emotions. We feel them so that we don't end up with a clogged energy system. And even if it's, somebody else's crap that's causing us to feel, and we're like, I don't want to deal with this. If the feelings have been triggered, they have to be processed. There's no 2 ways about it. So do things to process. And like I said, the Donna Eden stuff to help you move energy out of your system, to move the energy that is in your system through and push out, the energy incoming from these people so it doesn't affect you. But 10 of Swords in the past, yes, the worst has befallen. We have seen a lot of worsts happening. And fortunately, that's in the past. And then we have the Queen of Swords and the Page of Swords. Ooh, the present is the Queen of Swords. So we're talking here about seeing clearly, being discriminating and discerning. It can also talk about seeing through the eyes of trauma. But then the responsibility is that we learn to see clearly beyond the emotional energy, the truth of what has occurred and how it's affecting us. The Queen of Swords, and I think this might be more a reverse thing, is can be very shielded to the point of I'm not going to feel anything. She can be the woman that past trauma has caused her very rightfully to put on armor. And so she's armored against good, true, flowing emotion and the joys, joyous emotions as well as the hurtful emotions. And then we've got Page of Swords, and I'm hearing begin again, begin again. Page of Swords talking about holding up that sword of truth and saying, I'm going to look at things with fresh eyes. I'm going to see it anew. When I can very clearly see the actors and the roles they're playing and what people are looking for, what their motivation is. When you can suss out people's motivations, then maybe instead of being down like on the emotional level, you can kind of take a step outside and above and look and go, oh yeah, here's what this person's trying to do. Well, I hope that doesn't work, So this is talking about allowing, being able to take some steps to step outside of that emotional context and see clearly, and then change the perception. Begin again with a new perception of old situations. Oh my God, and we've got 10 of Wands here too. Okay, so this can talk about the position of another, the context, and we have oppression. So people may be carrying too much of a weight. They're carrying burdens, and when you are overburdened, you can't help but lash out, shut down or lash out. So we've got people that are traumatized and overburdened around. And hopes and fears, 5 of Swords. So this is somebody seeing things as win-lose, win-lose. It's a battle and somebody has to win and somebody has to lose. And I was talking about that in the beginning, that zero-sum mentality. If somebody else gets some, then I must lose some. And then at the end we have 4 of Coins. Wow, this whole message is something else. And then, so what do people do? They hole up and they gather in, and I'm going to take what's mine and pull it close. This is the story of this whole shit show that we're in, on the personal level all the way up to the global level, isn't it? It really is. But who's at the top here but the King of Coins? So the subject, what we have to focus on, is how do we take care of emotions? Are we responsible for our emotions or aren't we? This is where we end up when we aren't. This is where we end up when we aren't, because there's that shutdown. When you shut down, you rob the people around you that depend on you for closeness. Those in your family, you rob them of the nurturing and love that they need to develop and be healthy. And when you lash out, you harm the people around you by the trauma, the anger, the rage that you're throwing out. So this is to help us understand what's going on, and our part in it. Where are we? The King of Cups. We get to be master of our own emotions and deal with it ourselves without throwing it out, shutting down, or lashing out, or hoarding. It's for us to look at how perhaps our own past woundedness makes us more vulnerable to what other wounded people are throwing out. And then we change our perception. And here's 2 of Wands, talking about planning, making a new plan. And then we have the Strength card. Look at the difference in colors from what we had here. This deck does some amazing things with color. Look at the 2 tens, the 10 of Swords, the 10 of Wands, oppression and devastation, black cards here. And this dark blue of the kind of grayed out. And then look what we have here. Making a new plan with strength. So what do we do? Strength is about endurance. It's not about manipulation or force. It's about endurance and taming and self-control. Finding what you have control of and controlling that thing. with love and gentleness, not restriction, you know? Um, Learning how to dance with. Okay, catching up with messages. How they say to make a speech people imagine they're in their underwear. Yes, yes, absolutely. Absolutely, Sandra, that's a good idea. Emotion is the name of the game right now. Absolutely, Tavia. I mean, we're living it, man. We are just living it. Chiron full moon conjunction is all about healing emotions. Oh, absolutely. That would totally be. And it's an Aries full moon. So it's about getting fucking started. You know? How interesting is it that, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, when we are going into the dark part of the year, the internal part of the year, the first full moon that comes up is Aries, getting started, putting it out there. So that full moon being dealing with our emotional selves, it says we have to be proactive. We need to be warriors about it. We need to root out the, unprocessed emotional gunk that we carry for our benefit and for everybody else's too. Thanks, Tavia. Hi, Natalie. I'm so glad you're here. Yeah, it really is interesting, Laura. I mean, I kind of like going back to not having a topic card because it really leaves it open to just here's the story these cards are telling. Meet people very well. Well, but when okay, Sandra, you already know the outcome. I have a lot of thoughts about that. When we make a choice, everything changes. What we choose changes things. But I do agree with you. If you're talking about, for instance, narcissistic behavior, and when a narcissist reveals themselves to you, it's really good to understand there's nothing I can do to change you. And I know you're not going to do it yourself. So I know what the path is. I do. Okay, I take it back. I do understand what you're saying. You can look at it and go, I've been around this track a few times, and nothing has changed. This person has not changed. So that way, yes, I can see what's coming, and I will not open myself to that form of abuse again. I do understand that. So, and I agree, Samantha, always on time. Hi, Natalie. So, yeah, wow. What a deck. What an amazingly wonderful deck. Okay. 3 down. Boom, 1. Whoops. Okay, you stay there. It came up 1 again. This is the Raven's Wand. Okay, now I have to ask. Has anyone read the books that this comes from? Let me see. I think they talk about it here. The Dark Raven Chronicles by Stephen Hutton. It's a trilogy. Has anyone read it? I expected it to be young adult, but then I looked him up and I was reading. It's like, that doesn't sound like young adult to me. That sounds like adult. So I'm curious if anyone's read them. Oh, well, okay. We'll do you this way. I'm not going to beat my head against the wall. We will do it this way. Okay. So, Raven's Wand. What do you have to tell us tonight? 3 cards, please. 3, 3, 3. I'm going to take you 2, and I'm going to take you. Okay. Ooh, interesting. Just fascinating. We have release. We were just talking about that. We have give and take. And we have changing faces. Look at these beautiful cards. This artwork is stunning. I love it so much. Hold on. All right. So let's just go off the cuff first. Look at all the cats. So this is total Samhain card here. She is playing her flute. I love the music that is represented in this deck. Many instruments, and that's rare, which blows my mind. But it's rare to see instruments and people playing music in a deck. So here she is playing her flute. And we see all of these cat spirits coming up out of the ground. And there's the full moon. So we're talking about this full moon, Samhain full moon here, and releasing what needs to be released, releasing what didn't happen. So yes, we also are looking at releasing things that have come to an end over this last growing season, over this last year, releasing our honored dead, celebrating our ancestors. But we're also talking here about releasing the things that did not come to fruition. So in harvest time, we, of course, gather in what did come to fruition. Here's the results. Here's everything that we grew. And we gather those things in to nourish us and to bear us through the winter. But then there were things that we planted that did not grow, did not sprout, did not turn out the way we imagined. And so those things need to be released as well. Then we've got give and take here. So this one's telling me about, there's a line in the charge of the goddess that says, nor, it's the goddess speaking, nor do I demand aught of sacrifice. And I kind of disagree with that. Not sacrifice, and I know what it's saying. It's saying, we don't sacrifice animals. We don't need to do, blood magic anymore. Although some do. And so there's like, okay, it's just, that's speaking for the craft, for Wicca. Let's call it that, Wicca, that part, that religion. But I would not dream of showing up to a teacher or to the goddess empty-handed. If I am coming to the goddess, sorry, with a wish, with supplication, with something that I need her assistance, I'm calling her in because I need her. I am not showing up empty-handed. I am going to offer her the best of my gifts. What does that look like? It looks like singing. It looks like chanting. It looks like, using my talents and making beautiful things. And, the best gratitude you can give is using the gift someone gives you. But just, I offer myself. I offer these hands for your work. I offer this voice for your teachings. I offer this body, as a vessel, a vehicle of manifestation. And then changing faces. This can talk about, it can talk about somebody being two-faced, but it can also talk about choosing what you present to the world. Let's read. Painted faces brighten any coven festival, and we all wear different faces on occasion. That's why there's 12 houses in a chart. Although perhaps not as striking as Lavinia's Silverdale's, masking can help us by covering our vulnerabilities like a shield, such as wearing a brave face during a crisis or being attentive when we really feel exhausted. A mask can be new clothes or a hairstyle, and these simple things can give us a fresh perspective on ourselves. Would you benefit from stepping out of your everyday routine and being someone else for a while? So this takes me into kind of NLP work, which says that if you want a particular thing, find someone that has already achieved that thing and do what they did, like copy them, copy their steps. There's a lot to that. So I like the part about, putting on a brave face or deciding what you present. But what was the other thing that kind of triggered me there? Um, oh, wrong thing. Masking can help cover vulnerabilities. Now, we talk a lot about neurodivergence in my family because we're all neurodivergent. And learning as I have over this last short while that I too am autistic. I am slightly autistic, but man, has it been an explanation of a lot of things in my life. Definitely a card carrying weirdo. So, yes, absolutely neurodivergent. And masking is one of the things that we do to fit in. When I had to work 9 to 5 jobs and I'm just thinking of something, dressing in the style to go to that job and present myself in this way. When I worked for a doctor's office way back when, I was the transcriptionist, so I wasn't out in front office dealing with patients. I was back in the back. And so I dressed, this was in the 80s, and I dressed in my 80s finest, and I was singing in bands and stuff, and I would wear these, cargo pants and the kind that, clipped around the ankles and big and baggy and lots of pockets, and the little skinny belts that went around your waist and then would come down and wrap around a thigh, and these very interesting shirts. I had God, I wish I still had them, these 2 beautiful shirts that were very long. There was a black one and a white one, and they were like tailored men's shirts, but they were soft rayon. Long buttons down the front, and they buttoned all the way down the back too, so you could open them down the back. Fabulous. And one day the administrator pulled me aside, and I worked for 4 orthopedic surgeons in this practice. The administrator pulled me aside and said, "The doctors don't understand your clothes." And I did. I laughed. I'm like, "Yeah, and they don't understand your clothes. Okay. What would you like to know?" It wasn't like you're dressing, he didn't say you're dressing inappropriately, you're blah, blah, but the doctors don't understand your clothes. So I thought that was kind of hilarious. Anyhow, let's read these as well. So talking about being able to. So masking again becomes a skill that allows us to protect ourselves in certain situations. We don't show our true, weird, glorious selves to everyone because some people, in their misunderstanding or lack of understanding or, misunderstanding of your clothes, fear comes up, and then remarks are made and abuse is done and all that kind of stuff. So this can be something that allows us to move unseen as well in certain contexts where, we don't really want to open ourselves up to ridicule, to being othered, to, all those kind of things. And then there are things like the thing that goes across Facebook a lot about people with chronic illness that, yes, we are faking it, but what we're faking is being well. We know how to do that. So, a lot of different things from there. Thank you, Tavia. Yeah, I mean, I'm so glad. It's like all 6 decks that I originally picked. It's like, no, those are for Closer to Samhain. Should I just grab these? And yeah, I'm amazed by them too. Okay, so let's look up the other ones. Release. Okay, so here's what I'm getting before I even read these things. So in the center, we have give and take, right? And the give is in just releasing what needs to go. And the take is, on the take side, it's like the changing faces that allow me to function where I need to. Ellie Breeze comes to free the souls of the innocents who were tried and condemned with their witches. Oh. She's risking capture to release others, such is the lure of freedom. As we set others free, we sweep away the injustice of oppression. The cats have shaken off the chains of dread and pain, and they sail into the night to evermore, led by their smallest and youngest. Oh. The earth around the slaughter stone is purged, its hurts discharged. Ellie hurries to be on her way, although she knows that even if she's caught, the deed of liberation was worth the risk. I want to read these books. I really want to read these books. They sound like they would be really good. So this isn't just talking about releasing what doesn't serve us, but actually being in the position to free others, to set others free, to release others maybe from our expectations of them. So, ooh, here we go. So we can change faces so we can have a little bit of control over what people may expect from us and how they may regard us and treat us. And we can release our own expectations of what we think other people are by their appearance, because we acknowledge that they can be changing faces too. Wow, how interesting. So releasing expectations, and there's this push-pull, give and take. When I'm masking so that people perceive me in a certain way, I have to acknowledge that maybe they're doing the same thing. So I can't set into stone my perception of them and what I expect them to be. And there is that give and take there of allowing people to present how they present and allowing people to mask. And, maybe understanding that everyone has their own defense system, and maybe we don't need to dig under that. We can let them be how they are. We release our expectations. We keep our own bubble clear. And that's kind of the give and take. Wow. Fascinating. Did I read Give and Take? Did I? No, I didn't. Ada Crabb is Wildwood Coven's senior gardener, renowned for her direct manner and toughness. See, because I know if I read these books, imagine what the deck is going to mean then, because I'll know these characters. She sows her seeds, understanding that some of them won't bear fruit. Hello there. Okay. The rooks will take some, but she tolerates them and even provides scarecrows for them to nest in. Life is about compromise, according to Ada. Look at your own crop. If there's enough to provide all you need, is there harm in losing a handful here and there? Is it genuine need that makes you battle for every crumb, or just the obsession of control? There's that Four of Pentacles. Give and take is Ada's motto. Which one applies to you right now? So there was that, yes, the give and take of I don't need it all for myself. And when you give, the circle turns. You give, you take, the circle turns, the circle turns. Wow. Okay. Woohoo! Thank you. I think I'm going to edge this deck too. I need to get a really nice dark forest green. So beautiful. All right. Who have we got left? We have Taro Delaney and Taro of the She. So we have 2 and 5. What's it going to be? 3, 2, or 5? What's it going to be? 3, 2, or 5? What's it going to be? 5. Thank you. Oh my goodness. All right. Taro Delaney. Okay. Game of Thrones. Oh. Laura, tell me about it. That was traumatic. We got robbed so bad. And unfortunately, I tried watching House of the Dragon, and the first episode, I almost passed out. It was so intense, and I couldn't do it. I'm very open right now. Darcy, I burnt a letter from a relative that was 30 years old tonight. Absolutely. Go, 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 baby. We're tying up loose ends, aren't we? We're releasing. Okay, I don't care what you say. I want one more. All right. So, what do you have for us, Taro Delaney? Here we go. The Emperor. Ba-boom. I know this cloth just suits so well these decks. Okay. Let's just start building this way. The Page of Pentacles, the Page of Cups. How interesting. Look at the Emperor here, bracketed by two female pages of the feminine elements of earth and water. And then the High Priestess comes in, and the Star. And then the Tower, and I'm going to read it the way I did that other horseshoe and the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, so this is called the Horseshoe Spread, and this is from a book called Classic Tarot Spreads. I can't remember the author, but it's an excellent book. That's where I got my Wheel of Fortune spread that I always used when I did personal readings. And there's the last two. We got the same spread with the last two. But they're telling me I need to look at the bottom too, so we'll do that. So this spread, when you lay out the 7 cards in this horseshoe, but you turn over this one first. So I built it in a different way. And then it's past, present, future, environment around, hopes and fears, and outcome. So the Emperor at the top is about authority and decision making and where the buck stops and responsibility. Also can be about masculinity and the classic idea of, patriarchal idea of the male being the one that controls and rules and all that kind of stuff. At the end, at the beginning here, the past is the Tower. So again, we're acknowledging the shit that's crumbling, the structures that are crumbling. The women in Iran talk about a structure crumbling, and is it crumbling on its own? No, they're taking it down. They're taking it down. So again, please, if you came in later, Natalie and Sandra, and I don't know who else came in later, go to the beginning of the chat and find the name Yael Deckelbaum and look up her channel and listen to her music, because that's what they're talking about there. She has a song called Warriors of Peace. Here come the Warriors of Peace, beating swords into plowshares with grace. Yes. So the Tower talks about the things that have calcified, the dead stone of our foundations, but not just the foundations, the things that have built up in order to restrict, to contain, to define, to, what's the word I want? The attempt to make things permanent. And so the Tower is the reminder to us that change is the only thing that's permanent. And when we get too stuck in things being permanent and solidify, that's the word I was looking for, things being too solid, we get reminded, like Florida just got reminded, unfortunately, that if Mother Nature has other plans, our little our sureness, our the sureness that we have in our institutions and what we know is a big reminder, or it gets taken down. High Priestess in the present is going to the deep places the female power, the female energy coming forward, the quiet knowing, and the knowing that is based in experience. Remember a couple weeks ago, I think I was talking about, these classic male female archetypes and the active and the passive, and I don't like passive. What it is experiential, the creative and the experiential. So I create things, I make things, and then I receive and experience these things. And of course, they're intertwined, and it's that wheel that keeps turning. As I create, I'm experiencing. I create from my experience, So, and from my experiencing of things creates memories, creates ideas, creates understanding. So the high priestess here is talking about that understanding and the knowledge, the wisdom we have from experiencing life in this calcified, top-down, imposed structure that is not natural. The Page of Pentacles coming forward in the future is about learning, going and learning something new. It's about, information and knowledge. And because it is a page, it's that beginning of the Court of Pentacles. So it's talking about the beginning of skill, learning a new skill, taking us to a new place, but having the skill to create new. Then we've got the Page of Cups over here, which is about looking deep, starting to understand emotions and how they work. It can talk about something being revealed to us, as the High Priestess can as well. This can be something, this is a skill. This is going out there and bringing something in and practicing to have a practical skill. But both of these can talk about that knowledge, that knowing that bubbles up from inside, from where we don't know. This is the female. What my teacher in the Taro practice told me once when I was having a rough time because we had experienced something during a workshop that really exposed a hierarchical thing in this one particular Tibetan Buddhist community. And it was who was allowed to arise as the goddess, because we were doing this dance practice that has us arising as Tara. And people were very upset that people were arising as the goddess who were not initiated into this Buddhist tradition. And only those that blah, blah, blah. And she called me and we were talking about it because I wasn't sure if I was, going to continue or what. And I said, I just have a hard time, because one of the basic tenets of Buddhism is we all have the same capacity for Buddha mind. And if we all have that same capacity and we are to uncover it for ourselves, who is anybody else to say when anybody's ready to arise as the goddess? And she's like, well, and I said, this is a problem I have with lineage. I respect lineage, but then I have a problem with it too because it can get too hierarchical. And she said, well, there's a women's lineage. And I said, oh, really? And she said, yes, it's the direct lineage. So there's an acknowledgement that women receive directly. This is the women carry the Shakti within them. This is why in Hinduism, the male has to literally tap into that Shakti, because she has it innately, he does not. So letting that bubble up, the information that comes in. Hopes and fears, well, the star is we are holding out the highest hope for humanity. We also know, we also know what we're capable of on the best level. We see what we've seen what we're capable of on the most horrendous level. We know what we're capable of at the highest level. And the Ace of Pentacles says we are going to begin manifesting this best. What do we have here? The Five of Swords again, and the Page of Swords again. It's not about win-lose. Abuse of power is what gets us here. And what's the abuse of power? It's power over. That's an abuse of power. Our power is here to help us manifest our own highest potential and to affect this world in a positive way. Page of Swords here says we've got to be really clear. We can be extremely hopeful and optimistic and project, but we also have to be honest with ourselves about the reality of it and how difficult this change is. So each one of us has to make the commitment to our own uncovering, our own highest potential, reaching there so that we add one more person to the world that has the right kind of power. The power within, the power with, not the power over. Shoo! Okay. Mudras and Slokas. What are Slokas? I don't know what that is, but I have a couple books on mudras that are awesome. So yeah, wow. And, you know, the emperor must change too. He also must come into his true power and know that that power is to serve. Look how pretty. Look at the colors. Oh my goodness, so pretty. All right, thank you, thank you, thank you. Wonderful Taro Delaney. It's not a deck that I ever reach for, and I'm so glad I reached for it tonight. And our last is the Tarot of the She. This is from Catherine, my patron. Thank you, my dear, so much. Plant the seeds always. Oh, I did not know that, Samantha. Awesome. All right, this is our last deck. And we're doing good. An hour 38, not bad. I thought that I was talking so much in the beginning and we'd be here forever, but you want to come out. Look what we have there, the warrior. Here come the warriors of peace, warriors of peace. Yes. To beat swords into plowshares with grace. Please go watch Yael Deckelbaum. Please. Let her clean her and her women, clear your tear ducts out. Cleanse you of grief that you've been carrying. So, you know, one of the things when we're under it is there will be times when we get hit with a wad of grief. And when it hit me the other night, I mean, it was so huge. And my son is so wonderful with these things. We can express in front of each other. It's amazing. And he's a Pisces moon too. Hello. And, you know, I was tempted to kind of go into, you know, what am I? And it's like, oh, no, this is the world. This is the grief on this earth that I'm feeling, and being able to weep and let it through. It's kind of like helping to release a little bit of a pressure valve. So when you move it through your system, for the benefit of others, it does really help the whole. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. All right. Oh, okay. Oh, and you know what I didn't do? I didn't look at the bottom. I turned that deck over. What was at the bottom? The Two of Pentacles. So decision time, making decisions. So we had the Ace and the Two of Pentacles. So we take that power of manifestation and then we move it and start making decisions about where we want to go with it. Okay, let's see who we have here. Oh, holy moly. Okay, so we have, hold on. We have the Warrior here, which is fire. And then we have Warrior King, Gift of Glory. We're going to put these two together. fire and the gift of glory. This has been a motivating factor on this planet for so long. Get out there and fight and bring home the glory. And then we have the Fool and we have the Hermit. I am going to do this Fool. I'm going to build it in the weird way again. Dancer Queen, we've got a lot of courts here. Warrior. Oh my goodness. All right. Now, I have to remind myself of the structure of this deck because I don't look at it. I haven't picked it in a while. All right, let's see here. We've got, I do believe that the warrior at the center there is an ace. Okay, so we have the dreamers, which are air. We have the warriors, which are fire. And yes, the warrior card is the ace. And then we have the dancers, which are water, and the makers, which are earth. Okay. So we have the ace of fire here. And then if I start here, we've got the warrior king. So these would be wands. So he's the king of wands, but the gift of glory. Then we've got the hermit, the fool. Here we have warrior 4. And then we've got dancer queen here and warrior queen here. So boy, we got wands, 4 wands, 2 majors, and a water. So 4 fire, 2 majors, a water. We'll take 2 more. So the Ace of Wands is about what are we fighting for? What are we willing to take up our creative energy for? Because it is that creative energy, not the destructive energy. Fire is that thing that sets us apart as human beings. And look where it's taken us, you know. But it is the thing. I'm going to move these over so you can see them a little bit better. But it, you know, it goes both ways. See, this is why I put, at least as far as ritual goes, and I appreciate tarot decks that do it, that put athames or swords in the element of fire, that the tool of fire is the blade, because they're forged in fire, and because that blade cuts both ways, that double-edged blade represents the decision. I'm making a decision, I'm making a cut, and when you decide, there's also the thing that's not chosen. When you decide, there's consequences. When you act, there's consequences. It's that double-edged sword. But here, just straight up fire, it's talking about that creative energy, that passion that burns. What is it that we are willing? What moves us into action? Down here, the past, and when we have the courts, they carry gifts. The dancer queen is the gift of truth. We are seeing the truth revealed more and more. The ick that needs to be healed. Dancer queen, she dances with an open heart and gives to all her greatest part. Her truth of love and gentle care shines brightly as her beauty fair. Her keywords are empathy, healing, nurture, care, maternal, self-sacrificing, and intuitive. But think about her gift, the gift of truth. And so truth is that internal impulse, that thing that really wells up before we start slapping meanings on it and interpretations and everything else. It's just the raw truth. And you know, it's water. We're in it. We're in it. We're not separate from it. So we have the truth being revealed in an emotional way. Our empathy, our intuition, these are the gifts of the female part of ourselves, not just females manifesting, you know, as females. This is the feminine part of ourselves, the intuitive, the empathic. Present right now, the Fool says we are poised at a at a place of all potential. And I mean, isn't that true of every moment? But right now, anything is possible, from things really, hitting that 100th monkey, where at the tipping point where things finally spread into the full culture. And this is why it's so important for each individual to do their work too, because it takes us closer and closer and closer to that tipping point. And if you don't know what that is, they did these studies that were showing, this population, or this family of monkeys, and they had learned behavior. It was like going and washing something someplace, and so monkeys directly taught other monkeys. And when they got to a certain place, which was like the 100th monkey, suddenly the behavior took a leap into another population of monkeys that was not connected with the first. So it's when that well of the unconscious gets full enough, it spreads. It spreads, it leaps. It moves through unseen channels. It moves through intuition to others. Okay, so we are in this place of anything can happen, and we have to keep on generating the positive, the most, lifting it up so that we can help push it in that direction. Then we have the Warrior King, which is the gift of glory. So I'm going to read him. Okay. Warrior King, the glory is as rays of light. His glory is as rays of light. He dazzles all with kingly might and rides out in a gilded sky, his honor and his sword held high. Magical, charming, magnetic, attractive, aggressive, powerful. Okay, so we're going to see manifestation of power moving forward here. Anything's possible, but I think that what we can do is, this warrior energy is going to be with us. It's there, it's part of us. So we need to find the positive manifestation of this energy. And to me, what I'm seeing is the new ways of using energy. Look at straight here, energy, the fire, new ways of, of being and using our energy, all these new technologies that are coming out, and really throwing our support behind whatever we can there. We are seeing some of these things in the policies of Joe Biden and the money he's putting behind new industry and businesses. I guess, I can't remember, Micron, was that the name of it? This company that has pledged billions to build these microchip facilities in New York. And it's going to create tens of thousands of jobs, And so building, when we're putting resources behind these things and dreaming new things, dreaming new ways to use energy rather than just fighting each other, rather than just claiming territory. So hopefully that's the way we go, and we can use, it talks magical, charming, magnetic, charismatic is the word I want there, attractive. So we put these things out in a way that attracts others to us, and then we head in that direction with us. Then we have the Hermit here. Ooh, okay, so what's going on? The context around is where people withdraw. I want to look at the Fool here for a second. Here. All right, talks about the rays of the rising sun and innocence being strength. And so, if we can hold on to that hopeful attitude, that really helps us keep maybe not so much innocence, but that optimism, Okay, so Hermit here. Messenger of the hidden self. Solitude. So right now, we are still in this place where we are very much self contained. So many are isolated still. And there's been so much divisiveness that we really have kind of split apart, and a lot of us have backed away. I'm sorry, I keep hitting the microphone. Have backed away from social interaction, from going out and being around people because we're just disgusted. We're sick and disgusted with some of the things that are going on. But that's outside of us. And, the messages we've had before is talking about what's inside of us. And this is Queen of Cups, and she came up in another reading as well. And then we have Warrior 4. This is the Four of Wands, foundations blessed. This is hopes and fears. So, talking about the foundations of something new. Talking about building anew. And, in some senses, it's good to see some things crumbling and falling. When you look at a place like Florida, or you look at a place like, California, or places where these massive, society is built up on places where the earth at any moment could pop off in its absolute devastation. And it's choices we make. But when you look at people that are like building and it's just develop, who cares? We'll just keep, and then things get destroyed and insurance companies don't want to pay and nobody wants to say, oops, we shouldn't have done that, So we're talking about building new foundations here and the agreement to do that. The gate becomes a hearth, a home. No need for ever being alone. Oh man, in answer to the Hermit. They celebrate the inner fire, joyous love that will never tire. This is foundation, celebration, engagement, or marriage plans for the future. So we have been in this isolated thing, and we're kind of coming out, learning how to live with COVID. We've got, new things that are going to help us there. And this is talking about coming back out again. And then we have the Warrior Queen. And she is the storm upon the sea, the flaming blood of sovereignty. Kin to raven, rook, and crow, all you are is hers to know. Strong, compelling, glamorous, confident, theatrical, creative. Look at her and him. Charismatic. So this fiery energy of we can see the future and here's what it looks like, to see more of that. Just people dreaming out loud about what is possible, what can be, rather than isolating, putting the ideas out there so that other people can start envisioning these new things as well. Let's see what we got here. Warrior 5. Action frustrated. Ruh-roh. Warrior 5. Guess what? What's that? The 5 of Wands. And then we have the Dancer King. So we've got the King and the Queen of Water and the King and the Queen of Fire. This is creative energy. Fire and water are the creative elements. The lightning striking the sea is what brought us here to begin with. So he is the gift of wisdom. When actions are frustrated, we can still keep putting the dream out there. But but what if? Yeah, but what if we could have it this way? If actions are blocked, we still put the ideas out there so that they're out there so prominently we get to that 100th monkey and things start to leap and spread. And the wisdom is to not let them piss on our parade. You want to be a turd in the bird bath? Go someplace else and do it. I'm going to keep dreaming my fiery dreams. Dang. Okay, let's see what's on the bottom here. The Maker King, the gift of skill. So we get Earth at the end. Manifestation is kind of like that last one. We got the Ace of Pentacles at the end. So all of this dreaming and conceiving of things and inspiration and fire, ultimately we end up with Earth bringing skill. We have to bring our practical skill to it as well. Okay, I'm going to catch up with messages. Full house. Okay, yep, the 100th monkey story. I'm on the edge of glory. I'm hanging on to a moment of truth. And truth is a shield, yes. Or called in the Hermit. Okay, yep. So here we go, you guys. You know, I mean, I love. This is why I love using 6 decks. It's like, you know, might seem like it's too much sometimes, but I love using 6 decks because you get to see things clarified and clarified and clarified again. You know, so. But I do believe that's it. Whoo-wee! That was fun. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you get like something of fabulous value out of this, there are a couple links down below that you can toss me a couple bucks to buy a cup of coffee. I shared something great on Facebook today about coffee and poop. And more often for women, coffee does get us going. Some people it doesn't. I can't imagine that, but yes, I'm one of those, and I'm down. Why did I even go there? Anyway, buy me a coffee. That's why. There's also a link to Amazon wish list if you want to send me a deck. To my patrons, I put a poll up for the 2 decks that are in contention this month, since I can't buy the cannabis deck. So anyhow, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'm so glad that you're okay, Laura. You know, relatively, I'm so sorry for the things going on at work. Everybody hang in there. You're so welcome. You're so welcome. You're so welcome. And yes, this time is precious to me too. For everybody that's hanging out that hasn't checked into the chat, thank you for being there as well. I value you. Please share this with somebody that you think might benefit from it. And you know, things are kind of topical, but I think broad enough that they can go beyond just this time and place. Work your magic, you guys. Samhain's coming. Yes, it is. I will. Here, let me like go big again. Oh, I wanted to show you. I showed you her close up, but I want to show you the other one. And now I got in my own way. Hold up. Let's do it this way. There. So here's her. And you can see how the pattern necessarily changed because of the size change. I love that they both have elbows. I just love how the shape came out. And, you know, Tam and I were going back and forth of, do you like this one better or this one better? And it's like, I like them both the best. That's the answer to that. I like them both the best. So let me know what you think of them. I am certainly going to be weaving the beads and looking at finally, whoops, wrong side, finally launching my Store Envy shop. Pray for me. See how that goes. But again, I can't wait to put some of these goddesses out into the world, and I will pray everything I got into them. So take care, everybody. I will see you on Friday for an unboxing, and the next time whenever I do. All right. I love you. I love you. I love you. All the best vibes to you. Blessed be.